this is different. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Are there more people here? Hello, welcome, welcome. All right, so this is a little different for me. I am in Buckhead in Atlanta, Georgia, on live this Saturday in January 2021. I guess I'll show you really quickly where I am in Buckhead, Atlanta, here visiting. Got some properties to look at, got some business for my other business I'm doing. And I've committed to going live every Saturday and Sunday for you guys to just show you what it's really like to run multiple businesses, what it's really like to be a millionaire real estate entrepreneur. And this is different because I'm actually completely alone. And this is a very rarity for me because, like I said, as someone that owns lots of businesses, someone that has 5, 7 kids, someone that's married. I have lots of employees. I'm rarely ever by myself. And so I put on some lip gloss and I got no makeup on and I'm just here live really teaching you guys and wanting to tell you the truth and have like a moment with you guys. So like I said, I'm here in Atlanta. This is not one of my Airbnbs. This is an Airbnb that I'm in. It's not mine. It's absolutely beautiful in many regards. A couple of things I would do a little bit different. I'm not going to critique this person, but some really great touches. And this is an awesome Airbnb. And this is actually a building. I'm interested in this area, Buckhead. I have a couple of properties in the Atlanta area, but nowhere near as nice as this here. Just being really honest with you. Hold on a second. But most of my properties, like I said, I used to do a lot of long-term rentals, unfurnished. And then we kind of started moving into the furnished model where we would start turning them on Airbnbs, furnishing them, getting them ready, and then putting them on Airbnb. So I'm looking, with New Res to get more of these properties. So that's why I'm here. We drove in last night from Florida, from Orlando back to Atlanta. So welcome, everybody. Thank you. But so today's lesson, I really want to talk to you guys because like I said, this is the real, you guys have my videos during the week that are like teaching, how to get business credit and how to acquire properties. I teach you guys all that stuff. And then these videos, I really want you just to see what it's really like, what my life is really like and give you just some tips. Unscripted, no one's here, no makeup, no microphones, none of that stuff, just raw me. And I'll answer any questions. I'll usually answer some of you guys' questions as they pop through. So let's talk today and get right to it about poor versus rich mindset. What is the difference between somebody that has a lot of money and someone that doesn't have a lot of money? And now that I've been in both situations where I came from my parents' basement, bankruptcies and foreclosures and working for other people, and now to making millions of dollars per year, able to even raise a whole bunch of money. You look at True Crowd and New Res, we raised like $1 million in 1 year. Just all of the stuff that I've learned and all the properties that we have, all the employees I have now, there's just a big difference in how I used to think and how I think now. And so I really want to share this with you guys because I want you guys to have the same success. And I'm sharing something honest with you. Being successful and having lots of money, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with it. So I'm rarely alone. Okay. So I'm like going to really talk to you guys because like I said, my husband's not here. My kids aren't here. I'm literally by myself. I never really get that. So that's different. And when you have a lot of money, you take care of a lot of people. But even really before you start getting money, you have that mindset about yourself. So, there's things that I did when I was not rich, when I didn't have lots of money in the bank that I still do now. And I took some of those things with me, but I had to leave a lot of stuff behind. So let's kind of talk about that, like poor versus rich mindset. So now that I've talked to a lot of people that have a lot of money, I have a lot of money. I talk to athletes and celebrities and I help them get their properties and, $1 million deals. A lot of the rich people, everybody that I consider rich, and I'm not saying nobody's faking it on Instagram, none of that stuff, that really have money, they do think differently. They really do. They think differently about themselves. They carry themselves in a very high regard. They're their number one thing. They invest in themselves. They'll have a personal trainer. They have their mentors, their coaches, their people that may work on their face. If they're on TV, if they're athlete, they work on their body. If they're a chef, they're always taking classes. They're always up leveling themselves. We invest in ourselves. Rich people spend a lot of money on themselves. And I don't mean just buying purses and things like that, but being up leveling themselves. You get what I'm saying? And when I was poor and had a poor mindset, I thought that was not an investment. I didn't even think that buying myself a coach was an investment. You know what I mean? I was like, man, this person already got money and stuff like that. So I had just a bad relationship with money because money isn't real. Money is a mindset. Okay, so let's start there. That's why I said this is about mindset, rich versus poor mindset. This is a mindset. Okay, you think differently. Here's what I'm telling you about Noelle. I think different than almost everybody I know, and everybody that was successful and that I still talk to. They think different. They're the oddballs. You know, last night I'm tired. You see me not dressed up, not anything. I was out at a meeting last night for another business that I had, and we got in real late. And I'm like a different person than I am here on YouTube, for example, or on Instagram or on TikTok or on social media. Sometimes I have to wear a different hat and be nerdy and kind of just listen and write down what I'm doing, because at that point, it's just about my money. I'm a different person. I'm different. So you have to be okay with being different. Most people are not rich. Okay. Most people don't have a lot of money. That's because most people don't think the way that they should be thinking. Most people don't they don't journal and write down positive things every day. And I wake up in the morning and I'm listening to motivational people every single day. And it's been that way for years. Every single day when I wake up in the morning, I'm listening to something positive. I'm saying something positive. I say my affirmations in the mirror. I say them to myself. I am well. I am healthy. I am walking genius. I say these things. And then I write positive things. And I don't want people to find my notebooks. And you have your notebooks and your journals, and you wouldn't even want someone to find them because those are your personal thoughts. I'm writing about how I'm going to do this and how I'm hiring before I do it. You know, how I'm going to have 40 employees when I only have 10 and 12. And then when I have 40, how I'm going to have a whole office full of 100. And when I have 10 properties, how I'm going to have 100. And when I have 100, how I'm going to have 1,000. I'm always writing down positive things about what I'm doing. And I do that every single day. Every single day. There's no day that doesn't go by that I'm not writing something positive, saying something positive, and listening to something positive. And whatever it is that you do for you, like I said, Noelle is not, I'm telling you just the real, of my real life. Not telling you, just fluffy stuff. And this is something someone taught me and told me, and stuff that I did not do before when I didn't have a lot of money. And the reason why you do these things is because, one, you're preparing yourself for the money when it comes. You do know how to act. You do know how to handle that responsibility. There's a lot of people that you are responsible for. You make 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, $20 million a year. Bro, you're responsible for a lot of people. I have a lot of employees, a lot of family members. People call me all the time for money. Some of them I owe money to, like their paycheck, you know what I mean? And then some people, they just want to borrow money or need me to be there for them. And that's okay, because that's what that for me, that's what I did it for. I wanted to be rich. I wanted to be, certain people that if they needed anything, they could call me. I wanted that. I'm being real with you. And so that's why I have that. That's why I accomplished that. That's why I manifested that. So whatever it is that you want, you can have. Like I said, this is not even about Noelle. I only use myself as an example. So hopefully you connect to me and you see yourself in me, and but this is not about me. We all have our own story and our own journey, but I want to encourage you that this is all possible. There's nothing, you don't have to be skeptical. Like, oh man, this person doesn't have money. And because that's poor mindset. When you're skeptical of everything, you think nobody has any money. Nobody knows how to get any money. Everybody on the internet is lying. Everybody on billboards are lying. Beyonce ain't got no money. Jay-Z ain't got no money. Cardi B ain't got no money. If you're that person, just jokingly, if you're that person that thinks nobody has money, that's because you don't have any. That's because you don't. And I'm being real with you, because I used to be like that. I swear, I've told this joke before. I swore I remember hearing a song, Jay-Z. I swore he did not have a jet. I was like, no way he got a jet. Yes, bruh, he got a jet. And now that I don't even have as much money as he was saying he had the time, I could see how he could have a jet and why he would, and how that would make him money and an asset for his business. And he told us all the gems. Shout out to Jay-Z. He told us, I'm not a businessman. I'm a business man. Like, you're a business. You think like a business. That's the difference in mindset. That is the difference in mindset. You just start seeing yourself different. First time, shout out Miriam Herndon. First time on my channel. Shout out. Welcome. Thank you. Welcome. So sorry guys, because I love doing these lives because I really get to connect with you. So again, That is the big thing. And so I'm teaching you here just some stuff that I did, that someone taught me. Know that everything that I'm telling you, someone taught me. I didn't learn this on my own. I was not this positive little baby, crawling around being all positive. I had the same thing. I had lived in my parents' basement and thought the economy and the market was bad and people were cheap and, my skin color, my gender. I thought these things mattered. I really did. And even today, I get questions about that. How is it being in a white male dominated business, real estate? And it's not anything. That's not an obstacle. Yeah, there's some things that have happened, but there's no point in me getting into that because it's okay. It's okay. I've learned so much from it. Things have happened to me. If something didn't work out because they didn't want to work with me because of my color or my height or my gender, it wasn't meant to be. And that's okay. I'm still very successful. And anybody that didn't want to work with me because of that, that's fine. So be positive. Think positive, know that you are worthy, know that you can have a lot of money, that this is not some fantasy. This is a real business. Like I said, I'm not in my Airbnb, but I often am. When I'm making you guys and showing you guys my videos, usually I'm in my own. Mine were actually booked, and actually not even being real with you, not as nice as this one. This is in Buckhead. I don't have an Airbnb in Buckhead yet. And yet, okay? So, but you can. And I've written that down and I'm here and I'm looking at real estate. That's what I do. And this isn't difficult. You're like, some people are like, how you don't have all those properties? I see the negativity people say. You're like, it's so ridiculous. This is not that difficult, guys. You know what I mean? Like this is an apartment. Okay. This is literally an apartment. And they got the owners of the apartment to let them put it on Airbnb, to sign a corporate lease. And that's it. And they probably had to pay a fee, or they have to pay a portion of their profits possibly to the management company. Again, I don't know the details of this, but this isn't crazy stuff. And I teach you guys all this for free on YouTube. This is ways that you can make money. There's people telling you how to be a notary and make money. There's people that's teaching you how, to take any of your talents, how to do hair, how to do nails, how to sing, how to do videos, anything that you can do, you can make a lot of money in it. Okay. Like I said, I know people that sell rocks and make a ton of money because their rocks have certain energies, or they help heal, or whatever. The money goes to charity, whatever. You can make money doing whatever it is that you want to do. Okay. So be positive. Know that you have to change your mindset. If you think you're not going to make money with it, you won't make money with it. It makes no difference what other people think. I promise you, no difference. So many people have told me that what I couldn't do, and they are dead wrong. And them same people called me back. Some of them asked me to borrow money, the whole nine. Hey, can you help me get a property? People text me that I haven't even heard from. I've had to change my number so many different times. That's fine. Don't listen to them. I love that, Jay-Z. I'm a businessman. And it's so many benefits to that. And I teach you guys all about all of the benefits to being a business, because money is freedom. Actually, money plus time is freedom, not just money. Because if you have a lot of money and you don't have any time, you get what I'm saying? You're not free. I actually have had that. I was making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and even not millions, but hundreds of thousands, and did not own my time, was always ripping and running and like a chicken with her head cut off, never saw my kids, and foolishness. And that's not rich. That's not rich. I promise you. And having time without money, we know, is not rich. Okay. If you have time and you free, but you ain't got no money to go nowhere and do the stuff that you want to do, you are not rich. So it is time plus money. That's truly what equals your freedom. So preach, girlfriend, whoever wrote that, because that is so true. Money will help you be free. Like I said, my kids right now are with their nanny. They're fine. There's nothing. Money does help a lot of your situations. I've been poor and I've been rich, but it starts in your mind. I just keep saying that. It starts in your mind first. So you want to start working on your thoughts, your routines, your friends, who you talk to, what you spend your time doing, what you spend your time thinking about. Thoughts become things, people. Thoughts become things. So you want what you spend your time thinking about. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take some questions. Let me read some questions here on YouTube. All right. Actually contact your support team and inform them. Okay. Great. The support team is working today. So they work on Saturdays. My landlord just dropped a bombshell on me. He wants to sell during the pandemic. How can I help myself and my disabled child? That is not really my area of expertise. That's a tough one because I get the pandemic. So really what you should start to talk to your landlord about is selling the property to another investor, okay, which hopefully he's going to do. I often buy a lot of properties, rental properties that were already occupied by tenants. That's a great way to get rental properties. I would also say, Dorisa, who wrote that, why are you interested in buying a property? It's a great time. There's lots of assistance. There's lots of down payment assistance programs. You could start with your own home. Don't think this isn't the year for you to buy a house. So if you're in a property and you're renting and the landlord wants to sell, hey, landlord, would you sell it to me? Would you sell it to me? If you're able to pay rent, you're most likely able to pay a mortgage. Okay. That's like the number of all, and I teach you guys this, they look at what you're currently paying, and that's a compensating factor in a mortgage loan. So if you could pay your rent, in many cases they will you can get a mortgage if you have an income and things like that. So it's not really as difficult as you would think to get a mortgage and buy a property. Okay. Especially if, maybe that's a multifamily that you're in and there's income coming from the other units, because you would get credit for that as well when you buy it. All right. So it helps your debt ratio. So again, have a whole video on that. So Jay Joyner, when do we start to get checks from New Res? So New Res actually should be they will start sending out checks in the second quarter. So the end of the first quarter of this year is March 31st. And then we have our first quarter of profits. Obviously COVID was really detrimental for, Airbnbs and what we did, but we really just didn't move forward with a lot of properties. Obviously we were slated to have probably, I think by this time we were slated to have at least 100 units for New Res, but we launched the company February 2020. COVID hit March of 2020. So honestly, for most of 2020, we did not acquire a lot of properties. We really didn't start acquiring properties till the end of the year, which is why we only have 19 right now. So we're in heavy property acquisition mode right now so that we can start, generating profits for our investor and get that thing going. But we have a lot of cash on hand. So we're making some really smart deals. We have a lot of people that are interested in doing some bigger deals with us. But what I want to do is kind of weigh out, because we actually have a lot of bigger apartment complexes wanting us to take, 10, 20 units and make them into Airbnbs and then working a deal with us. But the issue with that is then we don't own the property. So, if they change their mind after a year, we got to get all of our stuff out. And we've done that model. I've done that model. But if I'm using, all of these investors and we have a lot more money, cash on hand, then we're looking to get apartment buildings. We want to own the building so that we have authority over what we're doing. So I have a couple of deals in the work. Some of it is proprietary. I won't share here on YouTube, but we have investor only meetings for all of the New Res investors, and you get that invite. So if you're an investor of New Res, you get your invite, and then information that is not shared publicly. So that's what I'll say. It's not too late to invest in New Res. You can check it out still at True Crowd. And see if they're still opening. I know we finish out at $1,070,000. The law did change, but we're not going to go to the 5 million. I have some deals that I'm working now. So when it's done, it really is done. It's not going to be just like opening up or offering another offering. When it's done at the $1,070,000, we're completely done. And I believe we're almost at like 900,000 now. So cool. Regal, yes, you can still get it. I believe, again, I have not checked yesterday. I was busy with that stuff yesterday. So I got some work I need to do. And I'm going to be working and going to look at some stuff here and focusing on our target areas. But there's a lot of great markets for real estate. So if you're wanting to do real estate, there's a lot of great opportunities right now. And it's really, most of the opportunities are in people being in distress. There's a lot of landlords that want to get out of it. There's a lot of older people that have property, demographics, we looked at the research. There's a lot of older people with rental properties that are looking to just cash out and just, retire. So that's a great opportunity for not just us, but for you guys as well in your area. And that's a great way to start. Can you do a video on creating a brand? Ooh, absolutely. I could. That's a good one, because that's super important about creating your brand. And it's True Crowd with no E. So just so you know, homeowners for Airbnb, same thing. Homeowners that are behind on their payments are good target for Airbnb to ask them. Or again, landlords, people that already rented their property. That's like the lowest hanging fruit, guys, for Airbnb and rentals, because they're already comfortable with renting the property. Now all you really have to sell them on is, hey, I'm going to furnish it and there's going to be guests instead of tenants. And it's not that big of a leap for them. But if the person owns a house and they live in the house and they're not behind on the payment or nothing's going on, it's kind of a big jump to get them to say, hey, give me your property for Airbnb. So again, I teach you all of this. I teach you what to say. Look at the whole playlist that I have on YouTube to learn about that, and watch that whole playlist, because again, it's absolutely free. And I go into detail, and I even kind of give you some scripting. So thumbs up. Yes, you can buy with bad credit. You can start building business credit. You guys have some great, see, y'all are smart. Some of y'all in here are answering other people's questions in the chat. And I'm like, y'all are so smart. It's time, guys. We got to get all this knowledge out of our head and start putting it to work. I'm watching you. Y'all answer the question. You know, King up here answering questions. I'm like, yes, that's the right answer. Yeah. So, and again, I have a whole new video on New Res. I really don't want to spend the time doing that, because I don't want people to think that I came up here just to talk to you guys about New Res. I have those whole videos on that. I really want to come and teach you guys about you. So, or questions that you may have specifically, not about my business. Again, I don't want you to feel like I came up here to educate you on just my stuff. So, all right, in Orlando, yep, in Kissimmee, yep. So we're having a Grow Your Wealth event. I'm going to be on Instagram at 2 p.m. So I'm going to actually have to get dressed and put some makeup on and do a real thing where I'll be answering questions about the Grow Your Wealth. It's a live event that we're having in a couple of weeks, where you can meet me in person, come see my properties. It's very limited though. Grow Your Wealth event is where the tickets are. And today is the absolute last day. And because of, obviously with COVID and everything like that, we have to limit it to a certain amount of people. And then some of the people we will still vet, because again, these are my real properties. I'm a real person, you know, gotta be careful a little bit. So I love you guys so much though, seriously. Make sure you check that out. Again, Grow Your Wealth event, and watch the channel Noelle Randall at YouTube. I have all of these videos where I'm teaching you all of this stuff absolutely free. So, all right, this is Noelle. To your success.